in this Raid Shadow Legends video, we're going to be looking at champion tags and organizing your champions. I'm going to share with you my way. Everyone has their own preference, but I'm just going to share with you mine, and hopefully that helps you out. The difficulty arises when you have a lot of champions to take care of, and you have also a lot in your vaults and reserve vaults. To find a way to organize them and keep them running as you're progressing. So starting off, so we have of course the tags over here, but I just want to show you from my overview. The way I organize them is I use the tag 1 if all of the gear on the champion is plus 16. And then they, let's say, graduate to tag 2 when also all the masteries are done. There's also a kind of a small exception that either all of the masteries should be done or all of what I need should be done, and I don't need anything else. Let me find you an example. Probably here, Lord Shazar. I've marked him as 2 because I don't need these last 2 mastery slots. I've taken everything I need. There's no more value added for me putting any more miniature runs for him. Because there's so many champions, you kind of cannot do masteries for everyone to the max, and that's not the point. You do exactly what you need and you stop. So that's my tag 1 and tag 2. So you can see most of them on the top are tag 2. But as I scroll down, there's less and less of 2s because it takes a lot of time to do masteries. Or a lot of gems for people who are buying them. I don't use gems. I always do miniature runs. So as I scroll down to less used champions, then there's less and less of the masteries which are done. So that's the first 2 tags. Then the shield tag over here, I'm using for champions that I should not touch. So for example, this Blood Gorge, he's in my speed-tuned Shogun team. I'm using him as a damage dealer, specifically with for the Brimstone. I'm not. He was not useful anywhere in the game. He used to be a useful champion, but nowadays he's not. And so for one of the DPS slots, since he's the only 6-star I have here as a legendary. I used the Brimstone as a DPS, so he's doing it with Cold Heart, I think, in my Shogun team. So that means so I've put a shield on it. Means don't touch him. Because it's important that he has exactly the speed that he has, which is 180 here. So that's that one. Let's see. Then I have Emic. Same thing. He's also used in a speed tune. So he's the famous Emic 271 speed. So also him I should not touch, or at least I should be very careful to make sure I have exactly the same speed as before. Then let's pick another tag. Let's see. I have him. I finished here. I have the boot for kicking, so anybody I'm not using, but it doesn't mean that if it's kicked forever. I usually put the boot when I'm simply not using him right now. So for example, Durandil, he's a pretty decent damage dealer. Especially for people who don't have stronger options, and mine is 5-star, so I maxed him out. I did not give him all the masteries. I gave him just the basic masteries as a kind of a starting damage dealer, and the main purpose was Sintranos. He did his job, and I didn't need him anymore, so during the free regear, I removed all of his gear so it can be used by others. And right now he's just sitting and waiting, but he's not, let's say, bad enough to kick into the vault. So in the vault I also have a lot of boots, and these are champions I'm absolutely not using. On the rare occasion, for example, I may take her out if there's a special event for rares. But in the vault I have a lot more, let's say, kicked out that I don't even plan to use. So that's the boot. That's pretty straightforward. Also, Skull Crusher, for example, he's very situational, where let's say if you're fighting a fire boss and you need counter attack, he could be useful if all other options are blocked. Then I have the sword or the attack option. So I usually use it for distinguishing between two champions. So I have, for example, this Ugo over here. I have two of them, and both of them I'm using in Hydra because it's a fantastic champion for Hydra. So I simply use them to distinguish between the two builds. The one over here is the main one. Its masteries are fully done, but also this one originally it was in Relentless build, and I generally like to use the sword on anybody in Relentless because they get they're more offensive. Let's say they get more turns. But then I re-geared him to take him out of Relentless because I needed the gear to put on somebody else. So that's just to distinguish between the builds, and I usually put the sword on the one which is more offense or damage oriented or faster. So that's one. Then I have so here is another Geomancer shielded. This is used in the clan boss. You see the retaliations to simply increase the damage output as much as possible. And then here you also have the example of the two builds of husks. I have my original one, which was in the reflex build. It still is, and it does a pretty good job. But the second one, I've put him in relentless, and actually the total damage output is higher for the second one. Yeah, I did do the masteries. And which was a little bit surprising. I thought the original one would have been, or they would be equal or something like that, but definitely the relentless build did a lot more damage than the normal one. So now I'm using this one in my primary when I need to use a husk rather than the original one. But they're both good. They're both good. Then I have another option which is over here, which is the red cross or the cross. And I have them here, you see, on Grunge, on Melga, and on Terrell. And this is when they need help. So this is champions asking me for help, let's say. That's the thinking behind it. And this is because they need some gear, or they're missing gear, or they need to be geared, or their gear is not plus 16 yet. So for Terrell, the shield is at plus 15, and for Grunge also, he has an amulet plus 12 over here, and for Melga, she has two 15s and a 12. So whenever I finish upgrading them to plus 16, then I will change them to build number one. So let's say they will graduate to the next level, and so forth. I also have here Raider. Also, Raiders, I'm using her in the rare only teams. It's pretty good champion. I like her because she slows down the whole enemy team and also can stun one person. So I have her in Stansted. Before I also tried her in Relentless to go faster, but either way, she's I think pretty interesting champion for the rare only choices. And then there is one more option which is build 3, and none of my champions have that. So that is this one, build 3, and that is where absolutely everything is maxed out, which means that build 1 will max out all the gear to plus 16, build 2 will max out the masteries, but build 3 would be to max out all the glyphs and as well as all the ascensions. I do have my main nuker, which is, where are you? I can never see him, but he's somewhere here. Oh, here he is in the corner. Alright, so Staltus is my main nuker. I really like him because it's impossible to put the decreased defense on him. And his gear I almost have fully ascended, but not fully. And glyphs are also pretty good, but not all of them are absolutely maxed out. And then I really like the bunny as well. I ascended all of bunny's gear, because bunny is doing fantastic damage in Hydra. It's a pity I didn't manage to get the 5-star blessing for it, but it's really good champion. So let's see if there's anything. Then of course some people like to use favorite. I haven't used it yet. It's a kind of a backup option for me, as well as arena build 1 and 2. I leave those open, so I'm not using those so much. But that simply gives you more option to do what you like. So that's what I have. Let's just see if I've marked anybody else. Yeah, if of course there it's a new champion, like for example, Ailil I pulled, or Tunisia I pulled, I simply don't mark them. That means it's a brand new champion. It's still to be decided what to do with them. I recently pulled Baron, which was really nice. So I'm working on him, as well as the 110 void guaranteed King Narcissus. So these two are farming themselves at the moment. So they're on build 1, so which means I gave them plus 16. But the moment I ascend Narcissus, so for example, he was 5-star, I just made him into a 6-star as he was during the champion training. It was leveling up food. He's missing a banner, so I'm waiting for Tuesday, which will be the CVC, and then I will give him the last ascension star because it's really good points during the CVC, and then I will give him the banner and make it plus 16 so that he can keep the build 1, let's say, rating. So that's it. Not too complicated, but just want to share with you. Let's see also in my champion vault if I have. Yeah, most of the things in the vault are kicked out. This is an old shield, probably. I don't even remember what I was using him for, probably years ago. Um, Most of the things in the vault, by definition, are things that you kick out. So they will have a boot or no marking at all. So that's it, you guys. Just a short, easy, relaxing video about champion tags. And please feel free to share how you're using your champion tags to organize your champions. Maybe people will find it useful. Oh, here I see there's one more. So this is an interesting one. I'm just lucky that I caught it. Between the two seals, I have the let's say the normal, or the normal seal is fully with masteries in a stun build. So also the chance of stun is increased via the mastery over here. Where is it here? Increases the chance of placing stun by another 5%. And then of course she has the stun set, and she also has the shield ring. But the second seal is a damage dealer. Actually, I originally had them both similar, but I converted the second seal to damage dealer, and I was trying to use her in arena as a kind of a surprise, because most people don't expect a damage dealing seal. So I've marked her as offense option. So with the two swords, because yeah, she's doing damage. The gear is not fantastic. 5.7 with 250 in stone skin as well, so she can take a hit and then do the damage. And sometimes she was useful to get a win, but I didn't end up using her as much as I thought I would. So her masteries are also done. She's missing two, but that's okay. She doesn't really need it. I suppose I could take the counter attack. But yeah, it's not, and maybe the increased damage on A1 or deterrence. But yeah, it's not super necessary to get the job done. So yeah, that's another option. So I hope you find that useful. And like I said, if you have your own interesting ways of using champion tags, please put them down in the comments. It will be interesting to see what other people are using as well. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching, and if you like my content, please check out other videos and also like and subscribe.